Hiya Steve, super session the other day and very productive work. Just a quick recap on the key thoughts and pieces to work on based on this last session. First of all, we're talking about the location of the upper centre. We can see here that at the start of your session, the upper centre is out in front of the lower centre. And that does position the weight forward, but unfortunately it's creating a side bend to the left at P1. As illustrated by the yellow line. And really what we should have at P1, as we can see here with Charlie Way, is a slight side bend to the right. Now this side bend to the right turns into a side bend to the left during the course of the backswing due to the left shoulder working down and the extension of the thoracic. So what we see here at the start of your session is a left shoulder that's working down a little bit more than it did before, but then a player who, despite left tilt and extending, drifts off the ball and works upwards a little bit towards P4. And again, a lot of that is to do with the location of the upper centre. So the first feeling we gave you during the drills was to push the hips forward at setup. Now, you can see here if you stand upright and just bump the hips towards the target, as the hips move forward, that puts some side bend to the right in there. So if you're going to position the weight further forward, you do that with the hip centre. So you can see there now the hip centre's moved forward, but the upper centre has stayed in the middle of the stance. So it's more of a movement of the lower centre forward than the upper or both centres. So here we have you now midway through your session with the hip centre now moved more forward. We're doing a little bit of work on 80-20s at this point. Upper centre in a nice location and a little bit of side bend to the right at setup. From there the left shoulder works down, the upper centre stays very stable, and these shots were just punching forward, trying to maintain the wedge. One of the things when you put the weight forward, and again we work through some drills for you here, with the weight more forward in the stance, trying to learn to extend or hold the wedge initially and then work on some swings where you left tilt, and then with the weight more forward, moving that left knee out in front, that can really be emphasised. Then start to learn to extend and bring the club out of its descent, like so, tucking the hips, tucking the hips. So it's a change at P1, moving the hip centres forward, followed by more emphasis put on the left knee moving forward as you change direction, and then from there learning to tuck the hips and extend into the finish. You can see here at the start, towards the end of your session, much better position at the top, trying to feel now that that left knee starts to move forward for longer. Once the hip centres move forward for longer, you're in a position now where you can turn through the ball as aggressively as you like. Also with the hip centre move more forward, the inclination to the ground is maintained for longer, and therefore you can maintain a flying wedge. Very difficult to maintain wedge if we're extending, because the only way, if we extend too soon because we haven't moved forward enough, then the first thing we're going to start to do is release accumulators 1 and 2 in order to expand the radius and make up for the increase in height during the downswing. So if we look at Charlie Wee now, left knee out in front of the left ankle, continues out in front of the left ankle, maintaining wedge, tucking the hips and extending, bringing the club out of its ascent. Good luck with it, and look forward to working with you again in a few weeks' time. Well done.